Welcome to another edition of Cohort
1986.
I'm your host, Rodney.
I'm Candace. Rodney, who do we have today?
Man, we have a fabulous young lady, man. She sings.
Okay.
She's a business owner.
Yes.
A Renaissance woman.
Yes.
Britahn Newbill.
Yes.
Everybody give a round of applause. Britahn, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first, I would just like to thank you, Rodney and Candace, for having me on Cohort 1986. It's such an honor and a pleasure. But just a little bit about me. I'm 29 years old, born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. Shout out to the Valley, rally the Valley. I'm a graduate of Baylor University. And I am I know, right? Sick 'em, right? Woo! And I am a Christian, so that's actually the number one thing about me. And I am really big into family. I have a huge family, lots of siblings, great parents. So I love a good cookout, barbecue, whatever.
Invite me because I haven't had any barbecue all summer.
Why are you looking at me? You're in the South.
Gotta get on the grill.
It's humid.
I was talking about somebody had been cooking on the grill this summer. But anyway,
it's been a little hot.
I had the opportunity to go out to your Facebook page, and I think this is like the perfect way to start our show for today. Guys, she is a singer. When I say singer, I don't mean S-I-N-G-E-R.
S-A-N-G.
S-A-N-G-E-R. Okay, so. On the page, I saw that you were singing the song "Is My Living in Vain?"
Yes.
So before we talk about that, if you could just give
us like a snippit,
a small sample.
Excuse me, let me clear my throat. No, I'm just kidding.
Everybody, make sure y'all quiet. Everybody, quiet. Okay.
Is my living in vain? Is my giving in vain? Is my praying in vain? Is my fasting in vain? No, of course not. It's not all in vain. For up the road is eternal gain.
Ooh, Jesus.
Just a little snippet.
I
should ask for a whole verse.
You should ask for a whole verse, the whole album, the whole discography, everything.
I just wish I was over here playing the piano with you.
I know in the background, get that going, right?
Anything.
Right in the back
with my fingers. Oh my God!
Oh
thank
man,
you.
thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
So I gotta ask you a question. So
what you want to know?
Like, how important is that song to you? I just heard it in your voice. Like, why do you love that song?
Yes, and I could just feel the passion exuding from you singing those words. What do those words mean to you?
It's, I used to hear my grandmother and one of my aunties sing that song when I was younger, and she sang it with a similar conviction, much more. She's overcome much more than I have, but it was just the way that she connected with the song that made me fall in love with it as a child. And when I grew up and started actually facing my own challenges, circumstances, and trying to figure out who I want to be in Christ, not just who I want Britahn to be, but who God wants Britahn to be. And sometimes you have to ask yourself if I'm living right. I went to college, Baylor University, I had fun. I did college things, but I always wanted to make sure, like, am I still in God's will?
Right.
And all of that stuff is fun. I mean, yes, you want to enjoy life, live it to the fullest, of course, but you really can't live out your purpose if you haven't kind of tapped into what God wants you to do, because he always has more for you in the end anyway, more than what I could even imagine. So that's just something that I have to keep asking myself. Am I living right? Am I praying right? Am I fasting? Like, that's something that I just actually started doing this year seriously, so it's just, there's just things that I go through, and I just love to make sure that I'm always in his will, because if I'm not in his will, the steps that I take, they're not going to bring forth the results that I would hope for, because my hope is in him. So
man, you
wow.
You said a mouthful.
I'm still thinking about them words.
You got me thinking, like, you just talk about faith and instilling it and everything like that. So how did you grow up? Did you grow up in the household that went to church, very faithful? Like what was your background?
Well, I am a pastor's granddaughter and a pastor's daughter. So
okay.
Yes, we did go to church, Sunday school, morning service. I mean, back when you used to have evening services, Lord's Supper, all kinds of stuff, multiple services, and that's me. I mean, I kind of think of myself as the bridge, because I'm, I remember kind of like how it used to be when it was a little bit more traditional, and things are kind of modernizing a little bit. But it's as long as Jesus is the one that is the center, that's all that matters. Yeah, but I definitely grew up in the church, sang in the youth choir, convention choirs, traveled all over this nation doing Bible competitions and all of that. Like,
wow.
I'm actually nationally ranked for Bible sword drill. Just want to throw that out there.
Wow. You got me thinking back to the summer when I was a kid. We was going to vacation Bible school.
Come on now, BBS.
About them hot dogs and that red Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
did y'all have that in Phoenix?
You know it. At least one of the days you're gonna have to have some hot dogs and some Kool-Aid. Come on now.
Red Kool-Aid. Man, those were the days. So I have to ask you, this is always my favorite question. What did you want to be when you were growing up?
Believe it or not, when I was younger, I wanted to be an architect. Oh. I love math and I love design. I love when things are aesthetically pleasing to the eye. I love when you can create something out of nothing. That is really what was most appealing to me about it. But then when I was applying to colleges, I was actually in the state of Texas for a convention, but they had a college fair up there. And that's when I stopped by Baylor's table and I actually met a young woman, and she was telling me about their fashion program. Now that was always a passion that I had kind of in the back of my mind, but I also know, like, you want a career, you want to make money, you need a good option or whatever. But when my parents actually gave me the confidence, they were just like, as long as you are, pursuing what you believe is the right direction for you, you're educating yourself. So you don't have to be a doctor or a lawyer, or if fashion is what you want to do that, So I actually ended up, when I was a junior, that's when I scrapped all this stuff that I was doing, beeline to Baylor for their fashion program. They are top 20 in the nation, by the way.
Wow.
I got in, I was so excited. And I still do fashion now. I don't work in retail anymore like I used to. I had to get out of that rat race because they don't really care about your life.
Yeah.
But I still style and repurpose clothing that I love. Everything that I buy because it just says something to me. So I don't really like getting rid of clothes. So I normally make it into something else. So that's what I don't like getting rid of anything. Take newspapers, magazine clippings, create all kinds of stuff, mix and match outfits. I was very bold, and also being a pastor's daughter, pastor's kid, PK, you got to kind of make sure that you set the example in a way, so that was fashion was how I expressed myself. And that was really how I just kind of came out of my shell a little bit.
Wow. Gotcha. I do want to unpack that. So you really just said a lot about like your parents supporting you and supporting your dream and what it is that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that's just so important, as a young person, to have supportive family, that kind of help guide you in making those life-changing decisions, because you could have been stuck doing something that you don't want to do just because you felt like you had to have a job to make money or have a quote-unquote good job. But that's pretty cool. So let's talk a little bit more about like the fashion stuff that you do. I know you said that you do some styling as well.
Yes. So I actually, what I like to do, I don't do it as often because, as you know, I'm a business owner. But when I do have, especially in church, I started with my father when he became a pastor, because he always, he was like, I kind of need to branch out a little bit, but I I'm not wearing anything red or bright or lime green, you know, like, you know, and he's also, hey, I'm just saying, he also is still pretty young, you know, I think he just turned 50. My dad just turned 55, I think. You know, so he's, you know, but I just like to make sure that he's always looking good and feeling nice. He's also former military, so he likes things in a particular manner. So working with him and kind of figuring out what that was like, I really enjoyed piecing things together, but not me trying to make him look like what I think he should. It's having those consultations with that person to bring their personality out with their style, but making sure that they make a great first impression. I've also personally designed clothes that end up getting made into pieces. For instance, one of the members of our church, she was celebrating her 50th birthday. She did a denim and diamonds party. I designed her a gown and she got it made. She looked amazing. It was a corset strapless dress. She looked like $1 million. I was so excited.
Wow.
I've designed wedding dresses. Even when I was in high school, I designed my own prom dress.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, yes. I was like, I'm not going to have a double of my dress. Okay.
Only one. It's only one of me.
Only one. This is a one of one. I actually did. I designed my dress, my sister's senior prom dress. It was very, very sleek, chic. She looked like Aaliyah reincarnated, kind of. Very Aaliyah, you know, Queen of the Damned kind of look. And she looked so beautiful. But I really, whatever people want, especially if they have an idea and they're like, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, come over here.
Come on over
here. I got the pen and I got the paper. We'll draw it up real quick, you know, and we can make something happen. I love making custom pieces because we're all individuals.
Yeah.
You know, so we've all got our own distinct personalities, styles, and the way that we love to show ourselves and represent ourselves. And I really believe that putting that forward is very major. So I use fashion in everything that I do. I may not speak or say much, but normally what I'm wearing is how I'm feeling. So
me too. I can relate to that. But that's really cool, like how you do that, because like even with our cohort 1986 shirts, I always do like different colors for different people based on like what I feel about them. So no two shirts are the same.
I know that's right.
Except if you got a black and white shirt, then you know it's probably gonna be black and white. But
that's also my favorite color combination, by the way. I mean, it's classic.
Thank you.
And it's never wrong. So.
Thank you. Correct.
So I want to take a step back and ask you a question. So,
of course,
when was your gift for singing recognized, and who recognized it?
Very young age, and it was my mother. I've been singing since I was 4 years old. And I mean, Phoenix actually used to have a community choir here. I actually have a plaque for being the youngest member in that community choir in the soprano section as a 4-year-old. And my mom actually has the videotape. So I've seen the tape. I didn't miss one note or one word. I really there's nothing in front of me. I'm not reading nothing. I'm up there singing with the big dog. So I was like, okay.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But in church, you know, I learned a number of my skills were cultivated in church. Like what I learned at home and what my parents got me started on at home, I was really able to just grow and flourish at church. Doing youth choirs. I learned to sing, direct, play the keyboard. I play by ear. I've had some people help me with chords and things like that as well. But yeah, just having those opportunities to be able to, and then of course, when you're singing in front of your church family as a kid, you know, it's still nerve-wracking, but your confidence is building, and then you learn how to sing in front of anyone. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anytime I sing, I imagine my church family or my own personal family. So
that's awesome.
That is pretty cool. Like I did a little bit of singing in chorus and stuff.
Go ahead, girl.
I also played the piano, but I wasn't on your level. Was not on your level.
I could sing a little bit until puberty hit. And then the voice changes. It was bad.
Yeah.
Then he's like, I don't know what happened. I was on.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I was pretty nice with it.
But I'll still bust a note in the car though. Like if I'm by myself.
Because I'll be like, look, let the radio sing.
I tell everybody everybody can sing. It's just whether or not you can do it on key. That's the difference right there. But
Yeah,
everybody can sing.
I was pretty close to keys. Like if I had because I did some lessons, which I know you probably ain't did no lessons because I
That's
mean
natural.
that's just natural ability right there. Everybody you can't do this at home, everybody. Do not try this at home. That's what we should have said before she started singing. Do not try this at home because it will not sound the same.
Oh.
So we need a disclaimer.
You're crazy. You're crazy. So when you went to Baylor for the fashion and design and everything.
Yes.
Did you continue singing when you went to Baylor?
I did. I was actually a part of the Heavenly Voices gospel choir.
Oh, nice.
I'll never forget my first rehearsal there. Jared Fletcher was our director, and he actually does a number of things in the gospel industry now, traveling and all that. God bless him. But he, the first time I went to the rehearsal, I forget which song we were singing, but the soprano section. Yeah, I'm expecting, everybody's going to come in and be, super loud and coach, because I know where I came from. We ain't scared. You know what I mean? So
right.
So when I sang the note, he must have looked at me and he was like, girl, I will throw my shoe at you. Because my voice was so powerful, but I'm so small. You know what I mean? So they're like, where is it coming from?
Right.
But I loved being a part of that choir. I've got a chance through Heavenly Voices, and then I was a section leader with Heavenly Voices Gospel Choir. So we had our own group as well outside of that called The Difference. And we would travel and sing. So we've opened for Myron Butler twice. I've sang behind Kim Burrell. When she pointed at me to be one of her section leaders, I was like, oh, are you sure you want me? I was so excited. I didn't even know. I didn't even know what was happening.
That is an honor. Wow.
Yeah, Dorinda Clark, Kirk Franklin. We got a chance to sing at his church in Dallas.
Wow.
Kathy Taylor. I love Kathy Taylor. Got to sing with her when she was releasing her new music. I had so many opportunities in Texas. They were just, it's just like people were just coming out of nowhere, but it was such a phenomenal opportunity to be a part of that choir. I have a number of friends still from that choir as well to this day. So
that's
pretty dope.
That's dope. That is dope.
Really dope.
I got a lot of opportunities to travel just from singing in choirs, and meet people and all kinds of stuff. Like, it's a blessing.
So I have to ask you, like, how did you gain your confidence to get in front of all these people to do the auditions and singing and just getting on the stage? Like, what helped you to stay calm to do it?
That's actually a great question. Because even though I've been singing since I was 4 years old, I'm 29 now. Nerves and things like that definitely still come. But one thing I was always taught is that you should always have some nerves, not because you don't believe that you can execute the task, but because you just want to make sure that you don't take it lightly. You know what I mean? So nerves are a sign of humility. And a way that I try to manage those is, number one, I know my gift comes from God. So I wouldn't even be able to do what I can do without his grace. So I always try to make sure that I pray. You saw my set on Facebook. You got a chance to catch a little bit of it. I actually did a secular set, but I always start with Christian music because that's within me. And that's where, again, my gift comes from, so I that confidence was able to come from God, of course, number one, and then a strong and supportive family that is also based in Christ, because they're number one, they're praying for me. And then, they're also, encouraging me and pushing me forward because they believed in me. And when you have a system behind you, I love my family so much. And when I say my family, that also includes my church family. Especially because I've been going to the same church all my life, aside from when I went to Texas. But having that support system, it means a lot. Even when none of them are there, I know that if they were, I would have the loudest crowd possible. So that's one thing that I always try to make sure is that I represent God well, I represent my family well, and I represent myself well. So when you have all of that fuel kind of behind you, it's just like you have no choice but to fly, So I just gear up, get them tail feathers ready, spread those wings, and get going.
I love that nerve, sign of humility.
Wow. And so you mentioned that you're a
Mhm.
recording artist.
Yes.
When was your first recording?
For myself as
Mhm.
an artist, my first recording was in 2016. I put out an album called Chosen. And that was the first time that I actually figured out how much I love singing. I've always loved singing, like in church, worshiping and things like that. But as far as making it a career, I absolutely loved every minute of being in the studio, all the hours. I don't care how long it took. I don't care how many times we had to retake. I don't care how many waters I had to drink. I felt like I was living the dream, a dream that God, is preparing me for, and what was I in 2016? I think I was about 22, 24 or something like that years old. And I've grown so much more. So I'm really excited to put out this next one that I'm working on. It's going to be called Surrender. I'm very excited about that.
Speak more about Surrender.
What'd you say?
Talk more about Surrender.
Surrender. I'm very excited because most of these songs are actually going to be, they're actually all written by me, which is a first. Because on Chosen, I hadn't gotten, there's a few, like Father's Lullaby, God Is All I Need, Chosen, like those are all originals. Chosen was written for me and given to me, but the other two I actually wrote and co-wrote with another person. But now, just as time has gone on, I've learned to play the keyboard. I'm getting better at that, and my writing is just really starting to really flow out. And I'm learning to step away from living in fear and going to more living in that faith, because you can't live in faith and expect God to do things for you if you're still afraid, so you got to just go out there, do it. And Chosen has been wonderful, but I'm so excited about Surrender and that's why it's titled that, because when I'm writing all of these songs, that's what I'm doing. Every single time I write a new song, that's what I'm doing. I'm surrendering to his will, to the power that he has over my life. And I really want it to be a blessing to others, because you may have an idea and like, oh yeah, that'll really get them. And then nobody connects with anything because it came from you. You know what I mean? But when it comes from him, people can feel that universally. I don't care who hears it. I want them to be blessed and know who Christ is,
So what was the writing process like for you? Did you kind of start and stop, or did you just pick up your pen and just kind of go for it? What was that process like?
I'm one of those writers that has to go through some things. I'm not to the point to where if you give me a word, I can write a whole song. I've got a brother, he's a poet. He can write. If you give him a letter, he'll just tear it all up. But for me, I kind of have to experience some things. But when I do write, the entire song comes. I mean, intro, verse 1, chorus, pre-chorus, bridge, all the way to the end. Like, I hear all of it. And then once I get the shell laid down in the studio, then I continue. Then I let that flood my brain, so that way it kind of embeds in my soul a little bit. So when I go to make changes and improvements, the song's already in my heart, and now I'm singing it just the way that I feel, because I'm not worried about learning it or how should it go. It's just like, okay, I've got the vibe down, so now let's see what I can really, really make of it. And then that's when you go, you do multiple recordings, take after take, and really try to get that sweet. And I don't like saying perfect, because none of us are perfect. I can't an artist say that perfect sound. It's never going to be perfect. But that sound that's
perfect for you.
Right.
It's perfect to you. It's catered to you.
It's the perfect. It's as perfect as I could make it while God was working through me. God's the one who makes it perfect because He's using me. So I hope that it comes across that way to those that will be listening to it. Because I'm hopefully going to try. I would like to have it out by next year. That's the plan. So
I'm looking forward to it.
Let us know.
We should be releasing some EPs from the album. The title song, Surrender, and there's one called Favor that'll be coming out around the holidays. So be on the lookout for that.
Look,
yes,
link us to it. and we'll help you push it out.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
We're
you.
all for pushing
Thank
out
you.
positive messages.
Yeah, and
Thank
we'll
you.
definitely share it on our website too. So guys, on our community page, I feel like I give this speech every week. Everybody's information is on our community page. So if you are looking for anyone that is on our show now, has been on our show in the past, they're all on that community page. So
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
yeah, of course. And so, just kind of following your musical career. So, who is someone that you would love to work with in the future?
Oh Lord, I'm gonna have to go by category. Okay. If we're talking no, for real, because I listen to all kinds of music. I do.
Okay.
And some of them are no longer alive. Like Michael, Whitney, Luther, Prince. Those were like my top 4. Period.
Right.
I don't care
Okay.
for anybody. I don't care. Like but Brandy, if I could meet Brandy, just because
Unique voice, that voice.
Yeah.
She is. I listen to her music and I'm like, should I just quit singing? Like, maybe I should stop singing. Like I'm not doing enough. Like, I love the way that she has carried her career. I mean, from her youth, the Cinderella, Moesha, sitting on top of the world days to now mother, I think she does such a phenomenal job, and her voice has evolved in a way that is just.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Man.
She's like a fine wine. She just gets better every time, like with the voice. I don't understand. And there's a lot of to me, Brandy, Jasmine Sullivan.
Ooh, that would be a good one. Her, yes.
And
yes. That would be a good matchup. You and her, boy.
If she ever needs me to sing some background, I got it.
Not even background. Y'all need to do a duet together.
Woo. Put that out in the air. I need everybody to receive that. I need everybody.
Yes.
I like to see you sing with Tasha Cobb too.
In 2015, I did have the opportunity to go to the Grammys before my album released, and I got to. Yes, it was a phenomenal, once in a lifetime experience that I will never forget. And I got to watch her sing at the pre-Grammy show live. And when I tell you that she takes God everywhere, there's nothing churchy about the Grammys, okay? But when I tell you she took everybody and I was standing up, clapping and stuff, I forgot I was in an award show. She tore it up. Like, she got up there. What did she sing? She sang There Is Power. She sang Break Every Chain. Come on now. She sang Break Every Chain, and what is my other song? No Longer Slaves. I mean, come on now. Yeah, but if you're talking gospel, most definitely Tasha Cobb's. I've already sung behind Kim Burrell, but if she would like to call on me again, I would do it. Yes. Or like I'm a huge Donnie McClurkin fan.
Oh yeah.
But if you like younger artists, Jonathan McReynolds. I love
his voice is so.
I like Jonathan McReynolds.
Man, I'm telling you, man,
he's good.
I don't care what he sings. He can hum the whole time, and I'm gonna be like,
Listen, I tell you, against all those people, you can hold you in your own lane.
Oh,
so I mean, I can see you surpassing them. I can see you just singing whatever you want to sing.
In the next 5 years, you'll be like, what do you want to sing about? Who do you want to sing with? Britahn Newbill. I can see that, Britahn Newbill.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna be doing exclusive interviews then, huh?
Okay. Remember, y'all heard it here first. So when we invite her back, she's gonna have to come because you remember we was here.
I know that's right. And I'm gonna wear my shirt.
Okay. We're gonna have on her cohort shirt, guys.
I got an underrated parent too.
What?
Britahn, Melvin Crispell.
Ooh. I like that matchup too.
I think I know people that know Melvin too.
Well, put a little birdie in there. Don't send that little birdie. Yes.
I'll see what I look. I can see if I can hit some people up, and also Chandler Moore. I like him too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I lead worship at some other churches. When I'm done, of course, home always comes first. I always go to my church in the morning, and then in the evenings I have the opportunity to lead worship. And I love that Maverick City is doing what they're doing because Chandler Moore's voice, like I never would have heard it without them doing that, and he just has. I love when you can hear the pain,
Yeah.
but it's like transforming into joy
Yeah.
when someone's singing, and he just has that voice. Oh, his voice is phenomenal. Because Gyra, he can sing Gyra to me all day long.
Funny story. Like, I've known Chandler since he was born.
Well,
I'm from Charleston originally. I went to his father's church.
Okay.
And so him and my brother are the same age. So it's like weird because like it was like a couple of years I didn't like see them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden he's like this big gospel star. And I'm just like, this is little Chandler. He's
like,
now he's married and everything. Like, man. And just to hear like his voice, man, like I would never envision him being like a gospel singer, but man, the kid has talent.
Wow.
Hey, he is definitely anointed. You know,
but
that's
he ain't
like
got
a
nothing
man.
on Britahn Newbill.
Okay.
He ain't got nothing on Britahn Newbill.
Oh, bless him.
Nothing at all.
So I have to ask you a question. So you shared this quote from Mark 8:36.
Yes.
For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? What does that quote mean to you, and why is it important?
That has been my favorite quote, I think, since I was 10 or 11 years old. And it's because even at that age, I understood that if you try to go out and make something of yourself, but you forget everything that was poured into you, you lost, you know? And this is regardless of what you believe, whether you're a Christian or not. When you've been shown what to do and how to go about it, but you kind of want to go out and be like, I can do my own thing. I always think about the prodigal son in this regard.
Yeah.
Right.
He really thought he could do his own thing. Like, all right, no problem. And it's not that he didn't. He had the means. His father gave him the money. He had the resources, so he should have been fine.
Right.
But it's just the way you go about it. You know what I mean? So there's no profit when you lose your soul to gain what the world has. There's no real profit. You know, and that, and when you know that, as a Christian like myself, I'm in this world, but I'm not of it. So I don't want to try to, mix in and blend in when I'm supposed to be peculiar. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that we don't go out and hang out and have fun. Of course we do. You should always have a good time, but you always need to remember who you represent. So when as a kid, and especially when I knew I wanted to be a singer, that industry in itself is a cesspool of a lot of stuff you can get lost in.
I've heard stories.
A lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff. And that's honestly why I hadn't really pursued it at younger ages. I wanted to be a little older. I didn't want to be taken advantage of. I didn't want to be away from my family because I know that at some point I would have had to be.
Right.
And I don't know if I was strong enough in my Christian walk to be able to handle everything that would have been thrown at me.
Maturity.
And that's why I was like, that my mom always says what God has for you is for you, and do things in his timing. So he knows that singing and that becoming a career is a desire of my heart. But it's my job to make sure that I'm still in his will, so that way I don't lose my soul when he gets me ready to get out there. So
man,
I know he's going to get me ready, but he's not going to prepare me for all that just to lose one of his flock. That's not how he works, So I'm just excited for the rest of the journey. Really excited for this new album that's going to be coming out.
I'm excited. I am just sitting here just thinking, just the anointing that you have on your life right now, and how you're sitting here encouraging others, and being so proud of who you are and what you are and whose you are.
That's right.
I mean, you.
Somebody had to pour into me, though. This doesn't come from nothing. This confidence doesn't come from nothing. You know what I mean? Because I could easily just wrap a blanket around me and lay up in that bed, because I really am naturally introverted, But
I couldn't tell.
I am, but I get that a lot, though. But it's just like, if I keep to myself, I can't share what he's blessed me with.
Hey,
so
somebody heard
you gotta get out there, and peel back some layers, be transparent, be honest. My dad tells me all the time I could never do shows like what you do, because you have to really kind of put your soul on the table. And I was like, well, any great artist, they know that, because people can see through all that crap. Like
every time.
There's some artists who can sing, they have beautiful voices, but what does it matter? I like Stevie Nicks. Her voice isn't the most perfect voice of all time, but I can feel what she's saying. So I don't care if she doesn't hit the note perfect.
Yeah.
I hear her heart in it. You know what I mean? I like Prince. Purple Rain is one of my favorite songs of all time. And it's because I hear his pain in his voice. Like he meant every word, every lyric, every strum on his guitar. You could feel his entire being in the song. Like Whitney Houston, like, come on, like, you can go down the line. She'll take somebody, she took Dolly Parton's song. Dolly Parton had it for however long.
You forgot that was Dolly's song.
She didn't write it. You know what I mean? So I just think about stuff like that, and I'm just like, I want to make sure that I can share what God has put inside of me. And, again, that support system really helps me kind of just stay focused. And, God has also blessed me with a phenomenal man in my life, so that's a beautiful thing as well. I did wait long time,
nice.
Awesome.
But it was definitely worth it. So when you have all of those things behind you, it's just, you just got to go forward. And again, I am not perfect by any means. I mess up all the time. Like, you should get with my team every now and then. I have wild hairs, but when you remember who you do it for, you just find your center, you come back, and then you serve the people.
Wow.
So what's down the pipeline for Britahn? What are some side projects that you have? And then outside of Surrender, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I am a business owner. I am a very proud business owner. I have an online store called Newbie Necessities, and thank you. And I actually have all products in the 4 major categories, which is home, beauty, personal care, and nutrition. So it's a beautiful thing. I've always, you guys know that I always say fashion merchandising, but it's apparel merchandising, but we really are trained to merchandise products, period, not just clothes.
Right.
So it's a wonderful way for me to put that Baylor education to use, because I also did minor in business administration. So just kind of taking that, but really being an owner is the way to go in our country if you would like to create a legacy. And that's something that is very, very big to me. I love my family. They've been so supportive to me. I wouldn't dream of trying to live this life without giving back to them in a way that will still sustain them after I'm gone. So I really am excited to build my business, working with people, and just growing individually, because being an entrepreneur, you really have to grow and develop from the inside out, because people don't connect to the product, they connect to you. They know you. So I really appreciate all the clients and customers that I do have that are supporting local business owners like myself. It really does matter, and it also helps keep the money in our country, number one, and in our state. So that's something that I've also been very adamant about, especially for our people. We don't always remember that supporting the local business owner is actually more beneficial in the long run for our community rather than supporting a big box store. But it's really cool because my father, like I mentioned earlier, he served in the military, and he risked his life for us to have these opportunities. It's a free enterprise country. There's so many people who blood, sweat, tears for us to be able to go out and create something for ourselves. You guys are business owners as well. You guys have this amazing podcast. And I mean, look, you're trying to do things to help your community as well, so I'm all about that. And it's such a pleasure to be able to serve people in a way that I can really cater to them with white glove service. Because that's one thing about me is customer service is key. And when you take care of your people, they take care of you. And that's one thing I've learned in any capacity where I was working or even volunteering or anything like that. When you take care of the people around you, they will reciprocate that. So I really believe in that.
I agree. So I do have one last question for you.
Of course.
For anyone out there that's listening, what words of encouragement or advice would you have for someone who's looking to follow their dream?
One thing that I will say, and I'm just I'm not going to be too preachy. Everybody knows I'm a Christian. We've already done that. So just kind of stepping away from that, just kind of reaching people in general. Don't allow others to deter you from the path that you've set yourself on. Now, if you are a Christian, the path that God has set you on, don't let anybody deter you. Number one, when he's behind you, can't nobody mess it up anyway. So anything they have to say is really just noise.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So don't allow yourself to get distracted by the noise. I have to fight that all the time, because I get down on myself. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm not that great, or maybe I'm too old to get started. I'm 29. Maybe I'm too old to be putting out music. Why should I try? There's a ton of singers. Singers are a dime a dozen, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to get up there and, do a whole bunch of booty bouncing. So will they even listen to me? It's just little things like that. But I created all those scenarios in my mind. Nobody came up and said that. Nobody came up and was like, oh, you suck. And even if they did, okay, well, I have time to improve and get better. Yeah. Or I already have a fan base that actually appreciates what I do. You just happen to not like what I do.
That's
right.
That's also going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I just really believe that is the number one thing that keeps people from striving for their goal. I've been blessed to have a phenomenal support system. So even sometimes when they're like, I don't know, they're still like, well, we're behind you. We'll be praying because we don't know what that is, but we hope that's what it, we hope it's right. But for people who are, if you don't have a support system, if you don't, I really hope that you do seek God, because he'll never leave you, number one. But if you don't have that support system, dig deep from the inside. Because nobody knows you better than you. Nobody knows what I'm capable of, better than you. And I've always been a huge advocate of, if you haven't done it before and you think you can, try it. Try it. Like, really, you don't know. You don't know what your gift is, what your talent is, what your skill may be. I didn't know I could paint or draw until I just sat down one day. I grabbed a movie cover. I liked those cartoons as a kid, and I traced it. Then I went from tracing to drawing just from looking at it. Now I don't have to look at anything. Self-taught. Yeah, I would love to take a few art classes so I could learn something else. You know what I mean? As long as you're always learning. Yeah. Stay humble, but don't stop fighting. Good. Don't ever stop fighting. At the end of the day, you have to remember that no one's going to fight for you better than you can, other than God, of course. But nobody will. Nobody's going to fight your battles for you. So you just got to get out there and do it. And you can do it. You can do it.
Excellent. So, Britahn, if people want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
Okay, so anything for music, of course, honestly, just in general, you can actually go to Britahn3.com. I believe my name is actually displayed right there. So you can just check that spelling. Britahn, Britahn, 3.com. Yes. And then you'll be able to, I put all of my shows over there on there, whether they're private or even when I'm singing at church. Those aren't performances, that's worship now. But if you wanted to come and worship when I'm singing or anything like that on a Sunday, I keep that on as well. This Sunday, I'll actually be at Generation. If anybody's in East Mesa or anything like that, I'll be at the Mesa location at Generation Church. But yes, I just love worship. It's wonderful. But I literally have everything on there. And as well, if you want a link to my music or my album, all of that is on there as well. And so are my social media links. So if you want to find me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, everything is on Britahn3.com. And I do have a YouTube channel as well under my name, Britahn. So I got all kinds of music, my shows, worship sets, practices, even like stuff from when I was super young, if you want to see what I sounded like at 17.
Y'all listen, if you don't do nothing else today, go out to the website. There are additional performances out there. Additional, okay? And also YouTube, because when I tell you this young lady, I sit here and I listened to her even, before I met her. And I was like, when I talk to her, I have to ask her. And I was going back and forth. I was like, I don't need to ask her if she want to sing for us today. But now I was like, yes, I do want to ask her if she can sing for us today. And then I was like, no, yes, no. And I was like, I'm doing it.
That's it. I'm asking.
I am doing it. Oh, man. So, Rodney, where can people find us?
If you're looking for us, we're not hard to find. Cohort1986.com. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and then eventually when we get 10 turns to TikTok
Yes.
at
Ooh,
Cohort
yes.
1986 on all platforms.
If anybody wants to be an intern, please message us. Our email address is COHORT1986 at gmail.com.
And then if you're on the go,
Yep.
you don't have time to look at a video.
We got podcasts.
We have plenty of pods. Breaker, Google Pods, iTunes,
Yeah.
Spotify, under Cohort 1986. We're right there.
Yeah.
Our beautiful faces is on the actual cover, so you'll be able to find us.
All right, guys.
And then finally, Britahn, do you have any parting words?
Yeah.
You want to sing something real quick?
You got another little song for
Small
us?
bird.
Just a little bit.
Well, first, I will sing a little snippet for y'all, just because y'all have been so kind. But I just wanted to thank you so much for having me on Cohort 1986. This has been such a blessing to just be able to share how good God's been to me and everything that I'm endeavoring to and pursuing. So I just thank you so much. I wish nothing but blessings for you guys and your business as well as you guys grow. I hope you get more subscribers, more listeners, more everything. I think it's beautiful what you're doing for the community and the fact that you guys are reaching out beyond your state. I think that's phenomenal.
Thank you so much. We appreciate
it. Just in closing, I just like to thank God always. So
yes,
I'm just going to end with a little bit of thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I thank you, Lord. I want to thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you, Lord.
Ooh, amen.
Amen. With that, thank you for watching.
The church is adjourned.
Let the church say